You are an evolutionary empath. The world needs your gifts. Hello, sensitive souls, and welcome to my Evolutionary Empath podcast. I'm Stephanie Redfeather, author of The Evolutionary Empath, which hit shelves last week. You can pick up a copy through your favorite bookseller, in stores, and online. Find out more about it on my website, bluestartemple.org, and be sure to download your free copy of my Evolutionary Empath Activation Manual. While you're there, check out my products as well. I have a video home study course on the art and practice of energetic clearing, and just added an embodiment workbook in addition to meditations and a variety of other things you can find as well. And these are all great support tools for empaths. So let's check in on last week's self-care tip. I invited you to play with the healing power of sound. How did it go? What instruments did you use? What results did you notice? Of my sound makers, my favorite one is my crystal singing bowl, which I played for you last time. It completely transports me, and I immediately feel a wave of high-frequency vibration washing over me as I play it. Crystal singing bowls are tuned to different notes or frequencies, and mine is a 5th chakra bowl. I've been playing it a lot recently to help support my voice, both figuratively and literally. So I hope you enjoyed experimenting with your sound bath. And remember to listen for today's new self-care tip of the week at the end of the podcast. Today I want to introduce you to the masculine principle and the divine masculine blueprint. This divine masculine archetype can be called upon to help us create safety, draw healthy boundaries, and serve as a mentor for our personal masculine expression. And I have a very special bonus for you too. Since we talked about boundaries last week, we now have a foundation for applying the divine masculine energies to support us in creating and enforcing good boundaries, as well as providing a sense of safety. Before we can engage the divine masculine archetype, however, I first need to distinguish some terms. In spiritual circles, I often hear multiple terms: masculine, sacred masculine, divine masculine. Frequently, they are used interchangeably, but they are different. There are actually 3 distinctions I want to make so you can be very clear in your own self which aspect of the masculine you are calling upon and interacting with. These 3 distinctions are: 1, the archetypal masculine; 2, the personal masculine; and 3, the divine masculine. So first, there's the masculine archetype. And archetype is defined as a pattern of thought, a collective idea, image, or model. So the masculine archetype is a set of qualities that we generally agree defines the masculine model or standard. Now let me be clear. It doesn't define what a man should be. It defines the masculine principle. It is not unique to an individual person, but rather an idea that lives in the collective human consciousness. Well, what are these masculine archetypal traits? The masculine is generally associated with the left brain and the right side of the body. These masculine qualities include logic, taking action, defining boundaries, being assertive, tending to details and planning, thinking in a linear or sequential fashion, being results-oriented, dealing with the concrete or tangible, and creating structure, safety, and security. If you had to boil it down to its essence, the masculine archetype is about doing. It is action-oriented and outward-focused. I said a minute ago that the masculine principle is also associated with the left brain. According to neuroanatomist Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor in her book, My Stroke of Insight, the left brain defines boundaries, perceives things as being solid, helps us identify personal physical boundaries. It is the tool used to communicate with the external world, believes everything has a place and everything belongs in its place. focuses on differences and distinguishing characteristics, perceives shorter wavelengths of light, increasing its ability to clearly delineate sharp boundaries. As a result, our left brain is biologically adept at identifying separation lines between adjacent entities. So in terms of helping us draw boundaries and create safety, the masculine's got it. The masculine archetype was built for this role. In getting acquainted with this archetypal masculine, it is important to recognize that it is not good or bad. It is simply a set of qualities that can be considered neutral. Now, if these qualities overexpress or underexpress, then they can certainly become harmful and throw an individual or an entire society out of balance. But in their pure neutral form, the masculine and left brain attributes serve important and necessary functions. So that was the archetypal masculine. Let's bring it down to a more personal level. The second distinction I want to make is the personal masculine. No matter what body you were born into, you have a masculine side and a feminine side. Both archetypes live within you. Our personal inner masculine is formed through our interpretation of all of the modeling we observed as a child, hence the reason it is called personal. The neutral archetypal masculine qualities are distilled through the filters of your life experiences and become an individual and unique aspect of your personality and psyche. It is important to recognize that your inner masculine is a fusion of both male and female influences in your life. Now, it might seem like our masculine would be patterned after our father and other male forces, but consider that the influences of your mother and other female figures also contributed significantly to the development of your inner masculine. Why? Because you absorbed all of your female role models' reactions to masculine energy, which again contributed to the totality of the expression of your inner masculine. Now, your personal inner masculine is the expression of the masculine that is unique to you. Your inner masculine is a human characterization, so it has a specific personality, just like a person. You have a relationship with your personal inner masculine, whether you're aware of it or not, and your inner masculine impacts your decisions, behaviors, thought processes, and actions. So in this way, it operates in the physical realm, not the archetypal realm, because the influence of your personal inner masculine shows up in how you live your life. As a bonus activity, I highly recommend you begin a dialogue with your personal inner masculine as a vehicle for personal growth. Do you have a relationship with him? Do you know his personality? Do you interact with him consciously? How does he express himself in your life? These are great exploratory questions, and this is an important aspect of yourself to get to know. Finally, we come to the third distinction, the divine masculine. The divine masculine is the blueprint or ideal version of masculine energies. It also resides in the archetypal realm and is a re-emerging concept. It's what we are evolving toward. The divine masculine blueprint holds a collection of high-frequency patterns that includes creating safety, holding space, and witnessing without judgment. I'll say that again. The divine masculine blueprint is about creating safety, holding space, and witnessing without judgment. Now, this doesn't mean that the other qualities of the masculine principle that I listed previously are discarded or obsolete. They are still present, but they are in the process of reorganizing themselves into a different focus and expression. We live in a highly patriarchal society where the masculine energies have been overexpressing for millennia. As I said before, the masculine qualities are not good or bad. They are necessary and important. But when they are out of balance, they affect us adversely at both a personal and collective level. The divine masculine is an ideal, a set of qualities to strive toward. So with this understanding now of the masculine principles, your personal inner masculine expression, and the divine masculine blueprint, we can now focus on how to call upon the divine masculine to support us. As empaths, distinguishing our edges and drawing healthy boundaries are critical skills. If you want to establish and maintain good boundaries, the divine masculine is here to support you. How do you activate him? Well, you simply call upon him. This could be through a formal invocation or a simple invitation. Ask, and he will be there. So now you might ask, well, why wouldn't we call upon our personal masculine? Didn't you say he was perfectly suited for drawing boundaries? Yes, I did say that. And this is an excellent question. And here's my answer. Your personal masculine is a human characterization, which means he's flawed and has biases, just like you. Your personal masculine has his own belief system and values, whether you're aware of them or not. Your personal masculine, he might be a dictator or a misogynist. He might have been bullied and has become cowardly. He might be resentful and angry. He might have a rescuer complex. He might be an incurable flirt. Now, none of this means that you should ignore him and avoid asking him to support you. But it's important to recognize that because he is a human character, if you will, his support might be hindered or inconsistent or limited based on how he was formed and his current role in your psyche. So this is where the divine masculine steps in. The divine masculine provides a blueprint, an ideal for your personal masculine to aspire to. I like to think of it this way. The divine masculine is your personal masculine's mentor. Now, this doesn't mean our inner masculine is bad or wrong or needs to be killed off. When your human inner masculine gets stuck in an old pattern, you can gently remind him of the role you would like him to play for you instead of the role he has been playing. The masculine is an action principle. He likes to have a job. So when you call upon the divine masculine to support you in creating safety and setting boundaries, make sure your personal masculine is right there with him, observing, learning, practicing. It is important to develop a relationship with both of these aspects, your personal masculine and the divine masculine. Now, if you like working with ceremonial items or medicine pieces to help you integrate or work with a concept, I encourage you to find some kind of sacred object to hold the divine masculine energies for you. Personally, I have a Shiva Lingam stone that holds the divine masculine for me. And if you're not familiar, Shiva Lingam stones are smooth, shaped sort of like a long egg, and come in different sizes. Cool story. I chose my Shiva Lingam at a rock and mineral show. It was on the ground next to several others, and when I squatted down to get a better look, it rolled right across the floor to my feet. Working with physical objects that represent intangible concepts or energies can be very helpful because it makes the subtle concrete. It helps anchor the unseen into the seen realms. And if this appeals to you, then go for it. Carry your object with you if you can, or if that's impractical, put it someplace where you will see it and interact with it daily. Touching it can help you remember that the power to stand firm in your own sovereign space is accessible to you at any time. So the point of all of this discussion today is to connect you with the part of yourself that is naturally designed to draw boundaries, create safety, and focus on the distinction between you and other people. Your inner masculine can be a devoted advocate for you, and it is helpful to have his gifts at your disposal. With the divine masculine energies guiding and mentoring your personal inner masculine, you can begin to mature your relationship with and expression of the masculine principles. Especially if you struggle with saying no, being a doormat, or if your energy container looks like Swiss cheese, call upon these masculine energies regularly and often. And if you have some pretty severe wounding or trauma around masculine experiences in this lifetime or past lifetimes, then there might be a significant amount of inner work to do. So find someone who can help support you in that. To help you in connecting with your personal inner masculine, I have a special bonus for you. My book, The Evolutionary Empath, includes 8 guided meditations. I'm including one of those with today's podcast, and it's entitled Meditation to Connect with Your Inner Masculine. It is a 12.5-minute guided exploration where you get to meet your personal masculine, perhaps for the first time, and begin to develop your relationship with him. To access this bonus meditation, simply go to my podcast page on the Sacred Stories media site, and you'll see the link to this meditation in the podcast description. If you'd like to work further with the divine masculine energies, I do have 2 meditations for sale on my website, Connecting with the Divine Masculine Part 1 and Connecting with the Divine Masculine Part 2 application. These are very reasonably priced, and these are great tools for getting to know the divine masculine and building your relationship with him. Okay, friends, it's time for this week's self-care tip. Now, this week's tip is simple, but possibly not easy. Say no to something. That's it. Consciously make a choice to say no to something you would normally say yes to that you know isn't in your best interest or won't serve you. Or maybe it's something you'd say yes to out of peer or family pressure. Whatever the reason, pause, remember the pause from last week, and really consider your answer. No is one of the most liberating words in your entire vocabulary. This may seem a strange element to include as self-care, but saying no is a form of self-care because it means you are taking control of your life choices and choosing yourself first. Saying no helps create space, helps you prioritize and manage your time, and creates a clear boundary so people know where you stand. If you feel ambitious, say no several times this week. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that the universe even obliges by giving you 1 or more opportunities to practice your no. And I'd love to hear what you say no to, so please share it on my Facebook page if you're comfortable. Okay, my fellow sensitives, thanks so much for tuning in today. Next week, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of, you guessed it, the divine feminine, and how she gives us access to self-love and self-care. Not to mention, our empathic qualities peg the feminine side of the meter, so embracing the feminine energies is definitely a rite of passage for empaths. I'm Stephanie Redfeather, and if you want to find out more about me, my book, The Evolutionary Empath, or my other products and services, please go to my website at bluestartemple.org. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you like this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Sacred Stories podcast. Remember, my fellow sensitive souls, you are an evolutionary empath. The world needs your gifts.